everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a continuation of my revision series, and this video is going to be about revising for English. Now, English for me is a subject that I have never had a smooth history with. It's been a very turbulent time for me, and it's probably one of the only subjects that I can't just revise and like see results. I have to engage with it a lot more. But because it's a subject that I find the hardest, it's also the subject that I want to do well in the most, and I'm doing it for A-level. I'm not quite sure why, but I really enjoy it. So even though I don't get the same results that I do in most of the subjects, I do really enjoy it. And because I spend so much time trying to improve my grade, I do have a lot of revision things that I've tried and tested, so I thought that I would share them with you. So I'm just going to get straight into this video and cut to the chase, because I know that a lot of you are probably should be revising right now. So my first tip for English is mind maps, and I've said this in my last video, and I feel like this is still one of my favourite things to do. I've only done it for Of Mice and Men. Oh, by the way, I study Of Mice and Men, Journey's End, Pride and Prejudice and Heaney's poetry, but for Of Mice and Men I did mind maps in like a moment of inspiration, and it took me about a week to do them, so probably about 10 hours. But I have all of the different themes and all of the different characters. So for example, here is my loneliness mind map. Obviously that's a key theme in Of Mice and Men, and I've just got all of the different things that constitute towards loneliness, and then highlighted in green I've got quotes. Because even though my exam is an open book exam, I'm not allowed? I do need to know some quotes, because I feel like you waste a lot of time in the exam trying to find the quotes. If you know them, you don't have to go and find them. So the first tip is most definitely mind maps. I wish that I had the time to do them for all of the texts, but I've left it a bit late now, so Of Mice and Men it is. I apologise if my lighting keeps changing, because everything that I'm showing you is white, so that may be a slight problem. The second thing is a paragraph pyramid, and this is the paragraph pyramid. Last time I said like tweet me if you want it, but so many people tweeted me that I just didn't really know what to do, so I'm going to try and find a way of like sharing it on Google Drive or something and linking it down below, because it's really useful. But basically it just gives you a paragraph structure, and I think the biggest thing for me is I struggle when I'm writing my essays to follow a structure in a paragraph, and I kind of just go off on a tangent. So having a paragraph structure makes everything a little bit easier and more easy to follow. In terms of revision guides, York Notes are probably the best to go for. I have a few. So here is my Journey's End one. This is just like a little one. Not many people do Journey's End, which is really annoying, because there are literally no revision resources online. I have looked, trust me, there's about 3 things. So this is probably your only source of notes, apart from your teacher. So if you do Journey's End, then I would recommend this. I mean, it's not like the most deep analysis, but it starts to get your ideas going. I have one for Pride and Prejudice and Of Mice and Men. I have the GCSE one for Of Mice and Men. The only problem I have with the GCSE ones is they're quite vague. Like they have some points in, but they don't have like really deep points in. But I do have for Pride and Prejudice the A-level one, and obviously I don't need all of the critical quotes and things, but it has a lot deeper analysis on the chapters and the characters. So if you do Pride and Prejudice, I would definitely recommend this. This is probably my #1 Pride and Prejudice revision resource, and it also gives you a lot of help in the back on how to write good responses, and because it's A-level, even if you can't do all of the stuff, you're still going to get a fair bit out of this. YouTube channels wise, I have 2 YouTube channels that I swear by, and obviously Journey's End, there are no YouTube channels that go over Journey's End, which is so annoying, but because most of the modern world does Of Mice and Men, there are lots of resources online for Of Mice and Men, and there are 2 people that I just absolutely swear by for Of Mice and Men, and that's Mr. BRUFF and Mr. Salas, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I'm going to put him down below. And he did like a 45-minute lesson walkthrough of how to answer a Mice and Men question, and like it's just so beautifully comprehensive, and everything is just in one place, and I watched it and I made notes, and I just felt like I was learning stuff, and he's got loads of resources on his channel on how to answer questions. And Mr. BRUFF has just got so many videos on Of Mice and Men, and so many like new points that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of myself. And what I love about Mr. BRUFF as well is that he's got revision guides, and he also has them for Pride and Prejudice, and I've downloaded his revision guide for Pride and Prejudice, and it's so good and I love it. And he's just great, he's amazing. So if you haven't checked out Mr. BRUFF and Mr. Salas, then definitely go and check them out. My final thing that I would say for English is past paper questions, and for me this is like the hardest thing. I can like talk about English all day in the lessons and whatever, and then as soon as somebody puts a past paper question in front of me I like panic and I'm like, oh my god, what do I say? Because there's so much that you can say and I'm just like so the best way to sort of get over that panic is to do past paper questions, and I tend to do them and then give them to my teacher, and then my teacher will tell me what's wrong with them. And in the front of my English folder, which weighs more than me, I have a progress sheet, and on that progress sheet I just have every question that I've done and what grade I've got and how to improve it, and slowly I'm seeing my marks going up. And I feel like with English it's one of the things where you've just got to keep persevering, as my English teacher would say, keep chipping away at it, and it's not one of those things that like comes overnight. I feel like with English there is a degree of like natural goodness at it, and I don't have that natural goodness, so I kind of got to work at it myself. But past paper questions definitely are a definite must. Now I'm going to go on to English language, and I'm on OCR for English, by the way, which I forgot to say, and I looked at the AQA papers and they're kind of similar, kind of not, so how much help this is going to be for you I don't know, but I'm just going to say it anyway. So for language, probably the best thing to do is to annotate articles, and obviously in the exam for OCR you have a summary question where you have to summarise an article, a question on like presentational features and structure for the same article, and then you have a different article and you have to comment on tone. That's the hardest one for me. And the best way to practice is to just get a newspaper article, annotate it, try and get what the feel of the thing is, and do past paper questions for English, because if your English teacher won't mark past paper questions for you, then that's just wrong. So just bombard them with past paper questions, and I'm sure they won't appreciate it in the short run, but in the long run, when you get that grade, they will very much appreciate it. But I cannot stress enough the importance of past papers. Like, there are so many past papers for English, and the best thing is for English you can make up your own questions, you can guess what the examiner's going to ask and just go to your teacher and be like, is this alright, like does this sound like something that an examiner would ask, and if it is then you can go and do a past paper question on it, and you never know, that might be the one that comes up in your exam. The only thing I would say not to do is to have pre-formulated responses for every single possible question, because examiners like to have a bit of like individuality and flair, do you know what I mean? So like make sure when you're answering questions you have like your own response, if that makes sense. Like put in your own ideas, give it a twist, and make sure you suggest alternative explanations. Don't just say the word this word shows this. You could be like, this word may be the author trying to show this, but it could also be the author trying to show this, and it's just a case of just sort of doing that. But yeah, as I said, English for me is the hardest subject. Like, I love English, but I hate it so much at the same time. And it's the one subject that's looking a bit, am I going to get the grade, am I not? So yeah, I hope these tips were helpful in a way. You know, I did try. And give this video a big thumbs up if you want a science revision guide next week, or a maths revision guide next week, because I'm not sure whether these videos are what you guys want. So just give it a big thumbs up to let me know, and comment down below what other videos you would like to see, and I will see you next week with a brand new spanking video. Bye!